we don't have time to get a video out this week because we will be doing a crystal. I thought I would just go live, and while I need to make this opal ring in black CA glue, and then also carbon fiber in these channels. So here we go, easy enough. It's going to be very slow, and then also I'm not sure that we've done a video with the black CA before, because usually my inlays I will add the opal first and then the glue, but with the black I needed to fill all the way in, and so I will fill the channel with the black glue first and then dip my little toothpick in there to pick up my opal piece. But that opal piece is too big. Here, I'll move it over so you can see my opal pile. This is probably just a ½ gram of opal. I had this whole bag filled up with 1 gram. I'm not going to use the entire gram. But I do need opal that actually fits. And then also just the way that this ring is meant to be is a little bit of opal every once in a while with black background. And this is just opal that I took straight from the bag. I haven't crushed it at all. This is the I think it's 1 to 2 millimeter pieces here. So I'm just putting in one at a time, because that is how the ring is supposed to be. The black glue is pretty nice because you can use the extender on it without it doing the same thing as the other CA glue where it turns white and bubbly. So you don't have to worry about that with the black stuff. So we're just doing a black CA background with some opal. Every once in a while, little opal spots. In fact, I even can take some of this opal maybe and crush it up. Just crush it on our little anvil here. get a little opal dust. 'Cause this little stuff we can just put right in here. It'll add a little extra spots. It'll look nice. Again, this black glue is the only glue that I will, well, the only glue I will add that much into the channel before the inlay or before the stone. And that's just because it's going to be a black background. Dust that we made earlier, add it to the black, look cool. Doing it this way is definitely more time consuming as well. Bit of our dust. Most of that dust is going to disappear once we get all the layer of the black in there, but there'll be some little specks of it, and it's going to look good. Here is our last bit of CA glue. The easiest thing to deal with this, just put your little toothpick or whatever you're using in glue, and then you can just tap on the little stones. Wipe those on there. Easy. The little opal dust. Here. I said this earlier, you can use the accelerator on this black stuff without worrying about it heating up and turning white like the other stuff. So at this point, I'm going to put a little layer to fill all the gaps that we missed over all the opal. We'll unbury the opal when we put it on the lathe. Yeah, Jim, if you're here, I use the Bob Smith or BSI. I get it from them, so they put my logo on it. And then also we sell it on our website, Shop Dreamwood. I've used that. I've also used ooh, I can't think of it right now, but I've used the BSI glue for the last year and a half or 2 years, ever since we started carrying it and selling it. They are out of black, sadly, so this little bottle of black I have, hopefully it'll last me for the next couple months. I don't know when they're going to get it back in stock. So, yeah, there we go. That is our first inlay, if we can get it in focus. And also, see our little mandrel stand? We changed it up a little bit, made it a lot better as well. So that inlay is good. Once we bring it to the lathe, it'll open up all that opal that we put in there, and then hopefully there's no air bubbles. I let it sit for a while before I added the accelerant so that it could seep in without any air bubbles. So hopefully that happens. If not, we can always add more black or more opal later. And then these other channels, we're actually going to use carbon fiber. I have a video of this ring being made that we sent out like a year ago, but it's not, I don't think it's super detailed, but it's a good video. Now we're gonna do carbon fiber in those other two channels. Well, sorry for the screech. I gotta find my carbon fiber. One moment. I got all these new drawers. I got no idea where it is. So you can get hard carbon fiber, but I just get these soft fibers, and then I'll unroll it for each little channel, probably like two of these things. I don't know, I think I do 3, but just take 2 out of this here, unravel it. Other strands are catching on to it. It's a bit of a mess. It's alright. So probably that much will fill in the other channels. Now we can always add more. And we will cut it with the razor blade. Sweet. So we got our carbon fiber strand for one of those channels. I'm actually going to move this to the lathe because it's way easier on the lathe. So, don't mind the mess over by the lathe because we just got finished making a batch of rings. I have not bothered vacuuming it up yet. So, see if we can move this around. And I don't know if any of you guys are just starting or whatnot, but we just use this Harbor Freight lathe for the last couple of years. Wait until Black Friday to get the Jet 1221, I think. See if it goes on sale. The reason I'm getting that one is because it can go to a real low RPM without having to change a belt. So. Sorry for the wobbliness. Almost there. Almost there. We're stuck on something. There we go. Cool, cool, cool. Here's our ring. Can we get it focused? I don't know. One of our legs is bigger than the other on the tripod. Okay, there we go. That's all right. There we go. We are good. So good. Come on. It's kind of dumb. What can we put there? Yeah, that was, so that's Brad that runs Cumberland. It's just a metal, Cumberland was suggesting a metal lathe over a wood lathe. What do you think? I have both. So I have this wood lathe, which if you're just getting started, the wood lathe, you can honestly do almost anything. you could even start shaping metal a little bit, not very easily, not as easily as a metal lathe, but I use the wood lathe for just really quick work. I use the metal lathe for getting my inlay pieces to size, for getting, because that's quick and very precise. I don't have to worry about sanding it all day. I also will use it for finishing sometimes because it goes low RPM, and so I just let the ring sit on there. But the jet lathe will solve that problem. So I don't know, if you can afford a metal lathe, I think go for it. It can do everything a wood lathe can do and more. If you can't, the wood lathe is a really good starting point. Okay, anyway. This is not a good focus. So anyway, carbon fiber, start off with a tiny little dot of CA. Man. If we go lower, if we'll be able to keep it in focus. I don't know why it's doing that. There we go. Well, now it wants to focus on the, are you serious? Need to unclog my glue. There we go. So to get this started on the wrap, I put one little drop there. I take the carbon fiber strap or strand, glue it into place. Just hold it for a minute. Perfect. That will hold real well. So now at this point, I'm going to get rid of this one because it's kind of annoying. Now at this point, I'm going to put glue while I roll. I tried rolling it and then gluing once, and the glue didn't get all the way through. The carbon fiber was stopping it from seeping all the way down. I need a little pinprick to unclog these glues. If anyone uses anything that they can suggest, feel free to comment, because it's my biggest problem with the glues is they get clogged. Okay, so I'm going to add the glue as I roll it, because it cannot get, the glue does not go all the way down if I roll it first. So every layer needs to have some. And I'm just pulling, like, I'm pulling pretty tight on these strands, because I don't want any air bubbles. Also, it's interesting, the carbon fiber strands, once it hits the glue, hardens up really hard. I guess that's not super interesting considering it's carbon fiber, but there we go. Nice. There's one channel down. We're also going to keep this video up afterwards. I just decided to go live instead of a video again because we have a Christmas event this week to sell our rings at, and I need to prepare for that. I also need to finish these orders so that they can go out in time. So I decided, why not make this one live? Two birds with one stone, right? See, ideally, I would like to not have all those little strands there. They made a little bump, so if you can get glue, if you're going to try this anyway, if you can get glue all the way on those strands, that would probably be the best. I'll just try to cut them. I don't have to worry about damaging the ring because it's tungsten. There we go. That'll do. Alright, same thing. Pulling real tight. And make sure every layer has. I also did the opal inlay first because this part is messy. So the opal's already in there. I don't have to worry about that middle channel getting a bunch of gunk in it and removing it. There's a little gap right there. Might make a problem when we go to finish the ring. Trying to get underneath everything and actually in the channel. It's okay that it's all a big mess right now. It doesn't really matter until we start to clean it up. We start to find air bubbles and whatnot, and then we will patch them up a little bit later. Yeah, there we go. Really ugly ring. So I'll just let that dry a little bit. Next up, as I'm shaping this, I'll probably have to mute the mic so that I can have my vacuum and stuff on while the carbon fiber is going everywhere. I'm just going to use a teeny bit of accelerant. This is the aerosol as well. Hey, thanks, Jim. Have a good day. You can catch the rest of this if you're interested a little bit later on, too. Yeah, here we go. We'll just wait a minute on that. I'm going to find some, see if I have some wire cutters or something so that I can get rid of this stuff without having to sand it. I want to deal with as little carbon fiber dust as possible. It's the best I found. Not great. It'll do. Yeah. The connection issues, if anyone's having some, because I'm out in the shop and I've not gotten any Wi-Fi out here yet. Come on. All right. I'm getting the dust collector set up. Oh, hi. Okay, so I just set up that. It's going to be real loud, so I'm going to mute it when I turn it on. This is annoying. You guys. Oh, there we go. Oh, come on. Come on. All right. Right there. Not instead of the ring. Anyway. Yeah, it's not a huge deal. I'm going to take this tiny little insert. I'm going to go into it a little bit because that is going to give us room for finish. The Opal bits, I don't know. I might try it with this little carbide insert. I don't know if it'll tear it out. Okay. I think, honestly, I think on all channels I need to cut it down a little bit. This is going to be a domed finish just because of the way that the channels are layered. So it might be okay, but I'm going to go a little bit more. Okay, I think that is enough. Without any sanding or anything here, because of all the air bubbles, I really don't want to fill them up with dust because it's going to be really hard to get it out. You use acetone right now. And then just wipe that so we can see what it'll look like if we just add the finish right now. It'll be almost okay. There's a little bit of cleaning up in this channel that I want to do. Yeah, I think that'll be okay right there. Thing in it, but once we add the finish, it just goes away, so it's not a huge deal. And then also on all of the carbon fiber, the finish also gets rid of a lot of the white lines that we were seeing before. So you can always add one small layer of finish to see if some of the white stuff that you see goes away. If it does, great. If not, then that's okay. You can just clean it up with maybe some acetone or something else. And right now I'm just rolling this with my hand. I'm going to spray some of the aerosol accelerant on here. And I put just a teeny layer of finish on this. So I can tell, looks like it all dried up, so we'll go more. And then, it'd be hard to tell unless I lower this. What I'm looking at is a little droplet underneath the ring. See that right here? Honestly, all we're looking at is waiting for that to dry. And with this sort of material that I'm putting the finish over, a little bit of the accelerant is just going to make it faster without ruining the finish. And everything that we put in here doesn't really need a big finish anyway. The carbon fiber is already somewhat stabilized with the first layer of glue. The opal's already stabilized with the black glue and the opal itself. So just putting a tiny bit of finish though will give your opal reflective. It'll make it look more reflective because it has that clear coat to shine off of. So I'm just going to keep adding it until I can see a noticeable dome, and then we'll clean it all up. And then every layer, just added a teeny bit of accelerant just to speed it up a little bit. I'm just looking for that droplet down there to disappear before we know it's dry. This is the part where I sometimes get a little impatient with it and add too much accelerant. So if you're doing it this way, you just need to make sure that you're patient. There we go. And now we got the whole bubble on all three channels at this point, so we're getting really close to not needing any more finish. I also have this thing for my wood lathe. Now, I don't know if it ruins it or not. I've been using it for a year and it's still just fine. It'll reduce the power and this. So sometimes too. And we lost focus again. There we go. That little droplet is just about to dry. Honestly, I think this is the last. Yeah, this is gonna be it. We don't need any more. I can't feel any ledges. It looks like it's over top all of it. That's it right there. So now just and I do this for all wood rings too. I will shape it with my tool again after the finish to take it down and make it really even. See the, well, let me erase this again. Hopefully we can grab a focus. There we go. So with that way of doing finish, we have a lot of high marks like right there and right there. So all I'm doing right now, just cleaning it up a little bit. We'll take sandpaper to it afterwards, but we're just getting rid of all the high marks of the finish that we just did. And for anyone just joining or skipping ahead, again, this is carbon fiber, opal, and black CA on top of a tungsten carbide ring. So now we have a very clean, I mean, there's some things on the edges that I could sand. I prefer just to take this tip and roll it around the edge because that's easier. It does dull my bit a little bit faster than just sanding, but it's also a lot faster than sanding too. You also can sometimes polish this stuff off as well. There we go. So at this point, I shaped it with the tool after the clear coat. Obviously you can see there is still stuff on the middle channels. So there's obviously still finish all over that metal. And that's what we want to get rid of. So I'm going to take as low as a 220 at this point. And move this little stone here. 220. And I use a big sheet of, I don't know, that's just what I do. I don't like cutting it sometimes. But I'm using my whole thumb, so I don't want to go underneath the metal. I want to be able to stay above the metal and keep that roundness that the tungsten already gives. All the glue off of the tungsten at this point. There and there, still a lot actually. If I wanted to go faster, I could use 120 as well. You don't even have to do wet sanding. You do 120, and trick is if you're using a whole sheet, I just curve it like this, and instead of putting any pressure on the ring, I just use this curve to put pressure. That will help make sure that I don't go too low on the channels, so that they are not inverted from the metal. Probably pretty cleaned up. Could do some more work. Sometimes if it's not sanding too well, I'll just take the tool and come back on it. See if we can just go specifically on the tungsten itself. And also there's always a little bit off, so if you take and turn the ring a little bit, do the exact same thing, you'll get a little bit of the tungsten that you couldn't touch before. It's coming out pretty good. There's a little air bubble there, a little sad. It might polish out, we'll see. Honestly, at this point, because of what we used to polish, you don't need a ton of sanding, so I'm just going to take a little bit of 220 here, get rid of any of the huge scratch marks. And then I have 400 somewhere. Take a 400. Same thing. If you're feeling up to it, you can always go up to a 800 as well. And sometimes I don't even go up to 400 depending on how I feel. Actually, I almost always go up to 400 depending on how hard what you're using is. I rarely go up to 800 before polishing. So there is that. The little air bubble in there. So I may come back and refinish or scrape that finish off and add some more finish. But for the sake of this live, we're just gonna move forward. So we got that. Now if you will come over to my buffing wheel. You guys have seen this before if you've seen any of my videos. It's just ZAM. So when you buy ZAM, it's hard, just a wax. So the best way to use the ZAM, in my opinion, I found, is to, if you have a variable speed, I always apply it not at full speed. You just roll it on there. The heat is melting it onto the polishing wheel. And then once got it, I go up to full speed. And then I like to just roll it around, going from vertical to, I don't know. You're also gonna just kind of hold it here, without even moving. Let it roll, make sure it doesn't get too hot. We've always used ZAM, it just is so easy. It does really well. And I'm just looking at in the light to see if there's any micro scratches that I'm. There's one of the air bubbles I was talking about. It has some white dust in it. With this current setup, you probably can't see it. Oh, right there, yeah. Sometimes if you have those, they may just be right on the surface. You can actually just polish it off. I can kind of see it getting a little smaller, but that may be an area I'm gonna have to go back and fix. Oops. Hey, thanks, Zach. It's my first live video that's been this long, so appreciate you guys watching and sticking around. Wish we could get more videos out. My video guy that usually been filming, he got married on a honeymoon, so I've been left to myself and I'm not doing so well. I've also found with this ZAM, if you have glue on the edges, just put it up on the wheel, it'll take it right off. It's the only reason I'm doing the sides. Not to polish the tungsten, because it's not going to polish the tungsten unless you have diamond paste, but just to take the glue off. And then also just really feeling for any variances in the finish. So that's the polished side. Next side is just right over here. Turn it down about halfway if you have a variable speed. And if it's all the way and you have this clean cloth, it's gonna burn the CA. I've learned that by accident. So this is just meant for cleaning off any excess wax or polish. So you always just want to use the clean cloth. Make sure it gets all over the ring. And honestly, that's it. I mean, I'll go and water wash it, or wash it with soap and water later on. But, oh geez, forgot to turn this machine off. So here is the last of it, or the finished ring. Let's see if we can get a good focus on it. So we got green blue opal on a 3-channel with the carbon fiber strands. Again, we have a video of this already up, but carbon fiber is not super popular, but it's not too bad to work with. Sorry about the focus, but yeah, there we go. So for everyone who joined, thank you. For anyone who's gonna keep watching after the live, thank you for the watch. Have a good one, guys.
Hey, cheers, Zach.